Omar and Adam had been best friends since the first day of school. They were the perfect example of opposites attract. Omar was quiet, always lost in thought, while Adam was a burst of energy. His laughter echoing through the hallways, but their differences didn't matter. They fit together perfectly, like two pieces of a puzzle. Every morning, they walked to school together, their conversations weaving through dreams, fears, and all the silly, nonsensical things that only they understood. They made a pact. A promise whispered under the old oak tree in the schoolyard, no matter what. They would be friends forever. The world they had built began to tilt during the second semester. A new group of boys, united by their love for football, caught Adam's attention. At first, Omar didn't think much of it. He knew Adam lived and breathed sports. But then, the small changes started to pile up. The lunch table they always shared suddenly had an empty seat. The after-school study sessions became a solo affair for Omar. Messages would be left on read for hours, sometimes days. A quiet loneliness began to creep into Omar's heart. He tried to brush it off, telling himself that this was just a part of growing up, that friendships evolve and people change. But the hollow feeling in his chest told a different story. One afternoon, the sting of loneliness turned sharp. As Omar was leaving school, he saw Adam near the gate, laughing loudly with his new football friends. Their shared joy felt like a world he was no longer a part of. When Adam spotted him and gave a casual wave, a storm of jealousy and sadness brewed inside Omar. He turned his head, pretending he hadn't seen, and walked away, his footsteps feeling heavier with each one. That night, his phone lit up with a text from Adam. "Are you okay?" "You ignored me today." Omar stared at the words, the hurt welling up. He finally typed back a reply that had been sitting on his heart for weeks. "You don't have time for me anymore." Adam's response was instant. Confused and defensive. What? That's not true. The digital conversation quickly spiraled into a real argument, filled with accusations and misunderstandings. For the first time in their long friendship, they ended the night with anger hanging between them. The next morning, the familiar routine was broken. Omar left for school early, deliberately avoiding the path he usually walked with Adam. The silence on his walk was deafening. As he approached the main road, he noticed a crowd gathered. A flicker of worry sparked in his chest. A bicycle lay mangled on the asphalt, and next to it, a boy sat on the curb, clutching his foot in pain. It was Adam. Without a second thought, all the anger and hurt from the night before vanished. Omar rushed to his side. "Adam, are you hurt?" he asked, his voice shaking with panic. Adam looked up, his face a mixture of pain and surprise. "Omar, I fell. My chain slipped and I crashed." The sight of his friend, vulnerable and hurt, was all that mattered. Omar carefully helped him to his feet, letting Adam lean on him for support as they made their slow, painful way to school. The silence between them was different this time, not angry, but full of unspoken emotion. As they reached the school nurse's office, Adam put a hand on Omar's shoulder and whispered, "Thank you. I knew you'd come." Later that day, during their lunch break, they found themselves under their favorite tree, the one that had witnessed their promise so long ago. The air was thick with things left unsaid. Adam was the first to break the silence, letting out a long sigh. "Omar, I never replaced you," he said softly. "I was just trying so hard to make the football team. They practice almost every day. I thought you didn't like sports, so I didn't want to drag you into it." He looked at Omar, his expression earnest. "I didn't want to bore you." Omar felt a wave of guilt wash over him. He lowered his head, staring at the grass. I just felt like I was losing you, he confessed, his voice barely a whisper. Adam immediately shook his head. You'll never lose me. Even if I make 100 new friends, you're still my brother. Omar looked up, and the hardness in his heart began to melt. I should have just talked to you, he admitted, instead of letting it all build up inside. Adam offered a small, gentle laugh. And I should have checked on you more. Friendship works both ways, right? From that day forward, they began to rebuild. But they weren't just piecing together what was broken. They were building something stronger. Adam introduced Omar to his football friends, and to everyone's surprise, especially his own, Omar found that he actually enjoyed the thrill of watching the matches, cheering for his best friend from the sidelines in return. Adam made sure to carve out time for their old rituals. He was there for the late-night study sessions before a big test and the weekend video game marathons that they had both missed so much. They learned a lesson that no textbook could ever teach them. True friendship isn't about being inseparable. It's not about spending every single moment together. It's about understanding. About being honest even when it's hard. And about refusing to let misunderstandings build walls between you. It's about communication and effort. As they journeyed through high school and then into the new world of university, Omar and Adam held onto that simple truth. Because they understood that real friends aren't just people who walk alongside you for a part of your life, they become a fundamental part of who you are.